Okay, welcome to another book talk. This time around, we have a guest named 𝘱𝘭𝘶 she's our featured writer for today, and this time around, we'll talk about her novel entitled Silence. So, this is a very, very intriguing novel. If you'll read the blurb, as you can see in the description that will go along with this video,
Mhm.
you'll see, if you haven't done that yet, pause this video and do it. Read the premise, read the blurb, and then,
Mhm.
anyway, we'll dive in. Okay. Hi, Che. How are you?
Hi, Miss Cindy. I'm doing great. It's my first book talk, so I'm kind of nervous but excited. And yeah, I'm super excited to finally bring Lily to life. So yeah, Lily, for everyone else, Lily's the protagonist of my first ever novel. So yeah, this is my debut novel. So I'm still trying to figure out like what to do as a new author, but Miss Cindy and everybody else have been really helpful, and thank you so much for that. Okay, so for myself, I'm the one who introduced myself,
Sige, sige, mag-deep
right?
dive na tayo dyan. Who is
Alright,
Che de
sige.
Leon?
Alright, so my name is Che De Leon. That's my writer name. My real name is very long, so yeah, we can just leave that. So I graduated Master of Creative Writing in De La Salle University. For my undergraduate course, I also went to the same school. Yes, I am loyal to the school. But I took international studies major in Japanese. So it gave me a bit of idea on how to world build, which is like super funny. Because international studies focus on the relationship between countries and what makes a country a country. So I think the rules of what made a country, I was able to apply it in my writing. I am 30-ish years old. I have two dogs and a cat. And the first what do you call this? I first learned that I love writing when I was in the last year of my last term in De La Salle University during my undergraduate course. What happened was I was in um law class. So while I'm taking notes about like international law, I suddenly realized, wait, why am I doing this? I don't want this. Yeah, but I was already there, so I just finished international studies, and then I said, okay, since I already pleased my parents by getting a degree that's not the arts. So I will just I will just take my take my masters in creative writing because that's what I really wanted to do. So I worked while I was taking my masters, I worked full time. So imagine I was working in the night shift because I had like US clients. So after my shift, I go straight to class, and it wasn't pandemic, so we had to have our classes face to face. So after I log out in the office, I go straight to school, and my classes are like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So I really didn't much sacrifice was made in order to make to for me to get my degree. And as the fruit of my degree, I wrote Silence. It's actually my thesis for a creative writing degree. And during the defense, it was the reaction of the panelists was were very hopeful, were very encouraging. So I was encouraged to have this novel published. And that's that's pretty much it. That's the journey of the novel in a nutshell. So yeah.
Wow. Grabe. So if I heard it correctly, you
Hmm.
didn't really thought about writing this novel up until maybe a few years back,
Yes.
right? But have you always been like a reader? Do you have writers who inspired you
Oh
to get
yes.
into this journey? Uh-oh.
All right. So honestly, when I was starting creative writing, I was what you call I was into like fantasy romance, like I was reading Bridgerton. Bridgerton was already a thing during
Fantasy
that time.
romance.
Yeah,
Is
fantasy
that
romance.
fantasy? Yeah, it is fantasy.
Yeah, it's fantasy, historical, and basically chick lit. So I was into chicklet. And when I entered the degree, the program, it was a very robust program, and I realized that I was underread. So I had to learn how to read a lot of books, even though it's not my genre. Usually, I started to read nonfiction. I started to read even historical books, autobiographies. And I realized that there are a lot of techniques that can be learned during when reading those books. Poetry, for example, is one great example of getting the technique of getting techniques from poetry and applying them to fiction. So I the author who changed my life and my writing. I'm not sure if people have heard about her. Her name's Rebecca Brown, particularly her short story collection of What Keeps Me Here. So my friend, a friend of mine, because I was what do you call this? I was struggling with masters. Um, I was struggling with masters back then, and she told me, "Hey, why don't you read this? Because I think it will fit your style." So I read the short story collection, and I really fell in love with it. And I started to emulate Rebecca Brown's style, and I started to look for authors that have the same style as her. I also found, which is very far away from Rebecca Brown, I also found out about China Mieville, particularly his Perdido Street Station. I also read The Dumas Club by Arturo Reverente Perez. And yeah, it's like all over the place. So yeah, of course there's the staple Neil Gaiman, and then there's George R. R. Martin. So yeah, it's a mix of different genres that really inspired me and really formed my creative signature, if you can call it that. um and those are the influences that I had during my writing and during writing silence.
I think,
Yeah.
and also from a publisher's point of view, you really must read a lot
Mhm.
of like a variety of genre. No, hindi lang
Mhm.
like you can't just stick with one or a few
Yes.
and say na, oh, this is my favorite genre. Um,
Mm.
out of like what, two or three genres, no? Like you really
Yeah.
have to you really have to
Yeah.
put yourself out there. You really have to explore, and
Mhm.
I can see it here in your novel Silence that you have applied quite a lot of techniques, different strategy, different writing techniques as well.
Mhm.
And it's not sometimes, I've read a lot of manuscripts in my lifetime. Hindi- parang tanda na. But I read a lot of manuscripts, and I found that some manuscripts, sometimes they can be repetitive, and
Mhm.
parang then it becomes a little bit dull because it becomes predictable, and
Mhm.
that's when you try, or how you can check if the writer is well read, or
Mhm.
have the skills talaga. Okay, so maybe let's jump to the next question, which is tell us
Mhm.
about silence. Like, tell us about. siguro, of course, without giving away
Yeah.
the spoilers, tell us about Silence. What is this book all about?
All right. In a nutshell, this book is about a journey. It's what do you call this? It's not really a hero's journey, but it's a coming of age story. So, Silence is a coming of age story regarding a woman. Well, a girl who became a woman named Lily, and she is on a quest to reclaim her missing tongue, because in this world, people with complete only people with complete body parts are considered human, and everyone else, for example, you're missing an eye, you're missing an ear, you're considered subhuman, because of the religion, and because of the dynamic of the impact of the dynamic of religion with society. So since Lily had lost her tongue, she was once a complete, but she became incomplete, and she experienced the world as an incomplete. So of course she wants to be complete again. And in order to do that, she has to trust and follow this mysterious woman called Sweater Girl into the city, from her village to the city by the mountains. So it's basically her trying in the process of trying to get her tongue back. Um, if it's her trying to also reclaim the voice that she has lost, and her realizing, like, because she was sheltered all her life, so it's also about her the realizing the plight of the incompletes, and that the world is not just about her, that it's a bigger place than she could have ever dreamed of. Yeah, that's Silence in a
Wow.
nutshell without spoiling anything.
Okay, so marami tayong medyo giveaways doon.
Uh-huh.
So uh, yung her not having a tongue, does that mean she's not able to speak?
Yes, she is not able to speak. And she's not able to speak. She's not able to tell what she really feels. So, yeah. Which is why.
Wow. Okay, that's wow. I wonder how she's able to communicate to. I'm sure
Yes.
that the viewers that we have right now, like, you're probably wondering how is she even surviving as well.
Yeah.
But probably she also, like, have cope up and have other skills as well. If that's her weakness, she probably have other strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
She will
malalaman
she,
natin.
Malalaman natin sa novel. But what I really found fun, I mean, for me personally, was it was the challenge of how do I write a protagonist who doesn't speak.
Yeah,
So
oo nga.
yeah, right. Because normally protagonists they can speak. They can speak their mind. We know what do you call this? They react a certain way to a certain situation. Sometimes for example, the protagonist like does this monologue or speech to like inspire everyone and stuff. So how do you do that in a novel where the protagonist cannot speak? So that was a really fun um it was a really fun exercise for me. The whole novel
Problem.
was yeah
That was
the
a
whole
really fun
novel was
problem.
yeah, it was a really fun problem. So I had to go through, I had to go around that stuff, and that's where being well read really helped me. Because if, for example, I only read like the genres that I'm interested in, I wouldn't be able to like write this novel the way that I wanted to write it. So yeah, it really helped. so so yeah, it's up to the readers to figure out like how is this protagonist able to still be a protagonist without being able to speak.
Okay,
So
so
yeah.
knowing her challenges na she's not able to speak, would you say that that itself is the challenge, or meron pa ba tayong ibang antagonist sa story na dapat natin abangan?
Definitely meron pang antagonist na dapat nating abangan. It's not just kasi I really wanted what
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted kasi talaga is the source of conflict is not just coming from one source, from one direction. I wanted it to come into multiple directions because I wanted to at least make it feel alive, make it feel real. Kasi 'di ba when we are having trouble, or we're having troubles in life, sometimes we were like, okay, napagbagsakan ako ng langit at lupa, 'di ba? Parang everything is just going wrong. So I wanted to have that feeling that everything is just going wrong, just like life, right? I have a bunch of problems,
When it
and it's
rains,
not
it
just
pours.
coming from one person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to emulate that. So hopefully I was able to. And yeah, but again, the readers will decide.
Yeah, parang yun nga yung madalas na nangyayari sa ano natin, sa mga movies, whenever there
Mhm.
are fight scenes, right? They go
Mm.
one by one, but actually in
Yeah.
reality, when life happens, they
Mm.
just, wala silang iniisip, wala silang pake, and they will just
Yeah.
give you the punch that you need. So,
Yeah.
ayan, so there's the protagonist, and then there's the antagonist, the challenges that Lily has to face.
Mhm. Mhm.
Did you have any like, sorry, going back to you as the
Mhm.
writer, did you have any struggles when it comes to writing this novel, or did you feel na, oh, this is so natural to me?
Mm. Um Struggles, yes, I did have struggles writing the novel because back in 20 I think it was 2012. Back in 2012 I didn't know what I wanted to write, and I wanted to write a novel that would enable me to graduate from the program. And then I came up with this. I was inspired one day, um, because remember, I don't have
Mm.
like a literature background when I entered the creative writing program. So there
Mm-hmm.
was a lot on my end, at least. There was a lot of fear, because I didn't want my classmates to figure out, of course, syndrome. I didn't want them to figure out that I'm not good. So there was a lot of fear in me, and there was a lot of pressure to do good, to not to do better, like to be at par with them, because I have classmates who won Palanca awards and stuff, right? They won international awards, but they're really nice. It was me that had a problem, because I felt that I had to earn my place beside them. So at that point, it was just okay. There's this woman who lost her tongue. That's it. And then where do I go from there? Um, so what I did was I took a break from masters, and then I just read and read and read, because I didn't know what the direction I didn't know the direction that I would take. I only wrote one scene. And then in 2018 I was diagnosed with uh depression. It's bipolar disorder with borderline personality. And I think and that made it harder for me to write, but at the same time it gave me the experience that I needed in order to be able in order to, number one, finally know what direction I wanted to go in wanted to go in, and number two, write the novel the way that I wanted to write it, which is, yeah. So I think that's the obstacle. The most challenging part is actually just starting to write, just starting and keeping up with the process of writing, even though there are bad days. Since I have a mental health illness. There are bad days. When the bad days are bad, they're bad. If they're good, they're good. They're if they're good, they're right. so you really have to ride through the bad days, and I think, well, I don't think if it's healthy or not, but I wrote I still wrote even though I was experiencing a bad day, because I felt like it was a good catalyst. It would be a cathartic moment for me to be able to write an effective scene while I was in the throes of depression, and I kind of think it worked. So there's a lot in the novel. Um I hesitate to say that there's a lot of me in the novel. More on, there's a lot of energy that I dedicated to the novel, whether it was negative or positive. And I think that, and the energies that I dedicated to the novel, I'd like to think that it made it more robust and more what do you call this, and more relatable to the readers. So there.
Thank you for taking us to that journey. I
Mhm.
believe all writers naman, no, we all go through that, but
Mhm.
each of our journey talaga
Mhm.
is unique. And in a
Mhm.
way, we cannot say na, oh, napagdaanan ko yan, because every journey is different. Parang,
Mhm.
you finishing this novel is already a miracle in itself, and it's not just any other novel, right?
Mhm.
Parang
Yeah.
pinag-isip mo talaga doon, it took you some time to get to
Mhm.
this point. So yes, so Che De Leon, we're so proud of you that you
Thank
get
you.
to this point. Congratulations. And well, eto na nga, kanina napag-usapan na rin natin yung the process of world building in this novel, which was
Mhm.
easy peasy for you because you took up law, you took up pretty much, you know the rules,
Mhm.
how a country become a country.
Mm.
So I want to understand a bit more of the world building in this novel.
Mhm.
So si Lily, wala siyang dila, but do we have other interesting characters as well? You mentioned kanina she met a friend and they
Mhm.
went into this adventure together.
Mhm.
Siya ba, meron din ba siyang weakness or may nawawala din ba sa body parts?
um well, first of all, them being friends is relative. And then for, well, let's just say, oo, may nawawala sa kanya. But
Mm.
does not necessarily it's not necessarily a body part.
Mm.
And there are a lot of there are a lot of characters in the novel that have lost body parts in different ways. Because I also wanted to um n- I hesitate to say social commentary, but I also wanted to explore the ways on how do you lose a body part, because of course the what we usually think is, oh, maybe they're born na kulang yung body part nila, but there are actually a different number of ways to lose it, and I wanted to explore that through the characters that Lily meets throughout the novel, and of course the unlikely allies that she would be with. But yeah, it for the world building, I started it personal. Like, okay, nawalan si Lily ng dila, bakit? And how did she lose it? I started from that, and then from that, it rooted towards and it rooted up it sprung up until I reached the, okay, so there are two gods. Yun, so hanggang na gawa ko na yung theology nung novel. And what I did with the world building, of course, nandun yung world, but I didn't focus too much on it, kasi I wanted it to be like let's say uh Ursula Le Guin's Earthsea series, 'di ba the journey of the protagonist is Sparrowhawk. It's very personal. And but dun sa background niya, there is an overarching plot that's usually the plot of a fantasy novel. Pero for
Mm-hmm.
what Ursula Le Guin did was, okay, nagbibigay siya ng clues or nagbibigay siya ng news na, okay, ito yung nangyayari sa mundo. Pero nagfo-focus pa rin siya kay Sparrowhawk. Parang yun yung gusto kong gawin, or that's what I wanted to do with the novel, na okay, there are issues in this world, but because we are seeing the world in Lily's eyes. For her, hindi gano'n ka-important yung malalaking issue na yun. So that's where because I didn't want to outright say, 'di ba, in the beginning, ito yung nangyari, and this one, right? Parang I didn't want it to be like a Bible na, and then dun magfo-focus yung buong story, yung religion and the nuances of the religion, and then how, kung ano man yung take niya regarding religion. Like, I wanted to focus more on the personal for her. So I think that's why the world building that I created, it's kind of simple. Actually, it's kind of simple. But it works. And I hope that siguro if this novel becomes like sumikat siya and magka-demand, I'll release book 2. And my goal for book 2 naman is to focus more on the world that was created. Kasi syempre parang from Lily, mag-zoom out na siya towards the actual world na, okay, how does this world work ba? Because dun sa first novel, kay sa Silence, it focuses on, okay, how does the world work on a micro level? So, ayun, I wanted to focus on that more muna. So, yun.
Yun, wow. So that's good news na magkakaroon ng book 2 on silence.
Tignan natin.
Very much looking forward to that. So, okay, knowing that that is basically in the future, so that's a plan in the future. Um, Anything else for Che de Leon? Like any other things you're working on in this writing career that you've started?
Oh, yeah. I've been working on a book of short stories that I have. Because I've been doing what do you call this, writing prompts. So, for
Mm,
example, I find a writing prompt, and then I find it interesting. I'll I'll write a short story about it, and then I'm planning to collate everything that I wrote into one book, into an anthology into an anthology of the stories that I wrote. So
mm,
hopefully people like it as well. Although it's not as yung deep dive like a novel. I hope that
mm.
they do enjoy the bite-sized stories that that I would give, that I will write.
Ayun. I believe no sometimes I'm also of course I'm also a reader, and I also love novels as well as I love collection of short stories.
Mhm.
So we can't wait for that release, Che. So perhaps for now that we're nearing the end of our segment of our book talk, perhaps you can tell us about how can we follow you. We have a Facebook page, a website.
Oh,
Mm,
yeah, you can follow me at, well, I have a website, 𝘱𝑊ritswords.com. And everything's there. I'll link to my Facebook profile, my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok. If I also created a TikTok account because I believe that's what the kids are doing nowadays. And my email, you can also reach me via email there. Um, And there is a page dedicated to silence as well. So yeah, just it's a one-stop shop to reach me. So so you can just go to the website and then choose the social media of your choice in order to reach out to me.
there. So we have TikTok, we have Facebook pages. So ayan, marami tayong pwedeng
Mhm.
pagpilian on how to follow
Mhm.
Che and her journey in this writing world. So thank you so much,
Mhm.
Che, for giving us the glimpse, or silence in a nutshell.
Mhm.
So you guys, you can get or grab a copy of Silence directly from Che or from our website, 8lettersbooks.com/shop. And also, I believe on Amazon, it will also be on Amazon,
Mhm.
Shopee, and Lazada. There you
Mhm.
go. Thank you so
All
much,
right.
everyone. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Che.
Thank you so
Get a
much,
copy of
Miss
Silence.
Cindy.
All
All
right.
right. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye.